This is super important, okay? Massively important. It tells you a lot about the current setup in China, especially the way the government works and society works to a certain degree. So here we've got two Chinese new energy vehicles doing their thing, burning as usual. These things collided and caught fire, but it's not the fact that they caught fire that's important, okay? It's what happened next that's important. Because this is obviously horrible. You've bought yourself a brand new car and it catches on fire. But look, the company of one of the brands, not going to mention the brands here, but whichever one, decided that they're going to hide this. And the best way to hide it is to literally cover the car with a black cloth so nobody can see which, see their branded car on fire. It's kind of, it's censorship again. But it makes a lot of sense. It's physical censorship. It's like, we don't want anyone to see that our cars catch fire when they have a mild accident like this, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's going to hurt their sales, number one. But number two, they're lobbying to get these cars sold overseas so hard right now that this could really hurt their reputation. Because if this clip goes around, if people film this burnt out husk of their car, it could really, really influence decision-making and policy-making.
People in China have been filming these like crazy and posting them on Weibo and stuff.
Yeah,
so they make it out, obviously, and they get shared on Twitter and whatnot.
But I mean, look, obviously the one brand, they don't care that much about their brand image as much as the one.
Or they didn't show up in time.
Oh, yeah, not in time. But they literally covered the burnt car with a black cloth so you can't see it.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. And this isn't some kind of one-off, by the way. This happens... There seems to be a bit of a trend, and I'll show you why. I've got another clip from a little while ago. Let's go past this first. Look at that. It's like, oh, now you can't see which brand of car it was. You can't see the car. They're covering it. It's ridiculous. All right. Let's move on to the next clip. Goes on. Again, this is China's physical censorship. Remember, they do this with protesters and stuff too.
That's what it reminded me of.
So here's another clip that surfaced a while ago. This car also caught fire, and people filmed them, whoever it is, for this brand. Not only did they cover the car with a tarp, they physically removed the badges so people couldn't tell what brand it was. Mm-hmm. Okay? Oh, yeah. Before we get into our public apology, I just wanted to say... that would probably work, by the way, because a lot of these Chinese EVs look the same or very similar. So if you saw a burnt-out EV, you wouldn't be able to tell what brand it is unless you saw the badges. So the fact that they physically covering these things and then also trying to remove the badges so people can't tell what car it is.
It's very interesting.
Well, it literally just shows you that they're afraid of the reputation of their brands. Mm-hmm. They're worried that people see this and say, I don't want to buy that because it catches fire. Mm. Or maybe an overseas person making a policy somewhere to bring like a whole lot of these into Europe or something, sees this and says, hang on a second, these things are catching fire, I don't want to bring them in.
Right.
Something along those lines. When you buy a fancy, expensive new apartment in China these days, some of them are coming equipped with this fancy new technology.
Oh, you don't say.
You've heard of a power outlet.
I have.
But China's really good at this dual-use technology.
Well, I've also heard of a water faucet.
Yes. So dual-use technology is when China says something's for one thing, but actually it has a military use at the same time.
Yeah. So, for example, a chip that they make this works great in blenders, but then it turns out it's actually like
for
a
missile
nuclear
guidance
system.
Yeah, they'll develop sell a drone to Russia or something and be like, this is only for taking family photos. Meanwhile, it's got missiles attached to it.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Yes, yeah.
So anyway, what we have here is dual-use technology.
In a Chinese apartment?
It is a power outlet that's also a water faucet.
Oh.
And it cleans your floor for you as well.
Can you go back to that? I just want to show how convenient this is.
Yeah, sure.
This is amazing because I've been in a situation where I'm like, I need to charge my phone, I'm cooking or something, but I also need to fill a pot of water to boil noodles.
Yeah.
I want them to be the same thing.
Yeah, may as well, right there.
I'm going back to China. Look at that.
The sad thing is that you can see how fancy this apartment is. It's big for a Chinese apartment. It's got marble floors, marble counters.
Hillary Swank.
Yeah, it's not this what you're looking at. Let's go back.
That's not
a fancy apartment. We'll get into that in a second. But I'll try to pause it just when he pans away, so you can see. That's a nice kitchen. It's amazing.
A nice wet floor.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's so disappointing for people who buy houses in China because this apartment guaranteed costs more than like a 3-story house somewhere in America, for instance. So you're paying millions of dollars for something like this, which is supposed to be all fancy, but they can't even get something simple like the power outlets right.
Yeah.
And this,
why do you think you see so many fires and things?
Yeah, it's horrible. Imagine you've spent your entire life savings and taken out loans, and this is what you get.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about ships.
The trickle charger.
Trickle charger. Yes. Yes, the current, it's a different kind of current.
A different kind of current. Speaking of currents.
Yes, exactly.
Man on a ship. Very important job. Asleep at the wheel, or we could say asleep at the controls. This is in China.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens when you fall asleep at the controls of a massive ship.
Yeah, let's take a look. And it was last month. It's not that old. So he's like chilling out. Hey. Sleeping.
Beyond chill. He's full sleep.
Yeah. So comfortable.
Oh! Oh, boy!
Yeah.
What can we learn from this?
I think what we can learn...
man comes out.
Yeah.
They crashed into something.
Yeah, it was a ship collision.
Yeah.
So I think what we can learn from this is when you're in charge of steering a big boat /ship/ whatever this is, don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep.
Oh, asleep.
Exactly.
Antonia, I just want to read Antonia Campa's question about the previous clip.
Yes.
Why do they have so many fires when there's water in the walls? That's a good question.
Very good question. Yeah. These poor guys. The poor sleeping guys, because it's not their fault, right?
No, I mean, it is.
The
first sleeping guy, it's his fault.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, what's going on here? How could this have happened? If it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Exactly.
Oh, boy. Anyway, turns out they're okay. The ship probably not.
Yeah, definitely
probably a little
not.
damage there.
And whatever they hit is probably really damaged too. Wonder if it was a bridge. It's hard to say.
Could have been a bridge.
Could have been a bridge. Anyway, this goes on far too long.
I think they hit another ship.
Yeah, probably.
That's my gut feeling.
Yeah.
Because I think they're out at sea. I feel like hospitals are dirtier than the average building in China.
If you ever wanted to see like filth and the lowest humanity can like sink to,
so they run in there and they're like, "No, mine."
Yeah,
no, I'm getting it.
If you go and sit down and the doctor wants to tell you you've got like an STD or something, you don't want the whole world to know.
But they will know in China.
Yeah, and the wall behind him looks sicker than he is. The doctor comes out with a bag of some disgusting thing that got cut out or whatever, and he's like, "Look, here it is."
Oh, the worst was when I saw the jars of fetuses go by.
Dude,
streak of blood, like someone cut someone's artery.
Yeah, and it goes up. That is just, dude.
The worst.
That's just.
Oh
man, that makes me feel gross.
I wish I had deleted that.
Can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind